And welcome back to Opally Hour. So today we are on day 6. Unfortunately, my recording mic didn't work. So for the first part of this, I'm going to fill in the gaps. So yesterday we completed plants and also a flower stand. It seemed to go on forever. I have to admit, just doing a few of these seemed to be forever. And that was that one. Okay, because I forgot to put it down. And also the other one of those was hiding, so I wanted to show you that. And so that you know. Then today we are going to hopefully finish off the plants. There's only 3 to do, and do some little coffee bags, and also a sign, and some ice cream. I think it is. We can do some ice cream. All right, be back in a mo. Right then, so we are starting to prepare another flower, and we have to use the light and the dark green, of which there's very little light green. What we actually have to do is have 8 pieces of 1.5 by 3 centimeters of the light green and 4 pieces of the dark green, which there's more of, so it doesn't make much sense. So I'm measuring it out because I'm thinking if I do 4 at a time, I can fold the piece in half and then in half again and then separate it all out. So I'm measuring it right now for the 3 centimeters. Going to cut that and do it by 6 centimeters because that's pretty much the length that I have there. A little bit short actually. No, it's 6 centimeters was fine. So cut that out, measured it out, and cut that, as you can see, measuring it up to 6 centimeters. And it's really weird watching this and then reading back about what I was going on. But yeah, so that's what we're doing. I'm going to cut that out approximately, and then there you have it. I'm going to fold it in half and then half again, and then separate them. But I think I'm going to use that as a template to go on the light green before I cut it. I think I'm going to use it as a template again. Yeah, so I'm going to undo it, use it as a template on the light green, and then use it also as a template on the dark green, and then fold them and cut and separate them. I'm just seeing if I'm going to cut here or if I'm going to cut the video out, or no, I'm going to do it. So alright, so I'm showing you how to cut some paper. I'm sure you probably could have worked that out, but being thorough and everything, or as thorough as I can be, if I can line it up. Obviously I'm having trouble lining this up. Yep, drop it. That looks like me. It's quite amusing to watch this, really, and try and do a running commentary. I can imagine being a commentator. Maybe you're more in the moment though. And then, like I say, I'm going to now use the template exactly the same on the dark green one, of which we have a lot of. And I'm probably worried, well, was worried that I wasn't going to have enough light green to do anything else, being that I know it's coming up, that we would have to use it for something else. So this is where I'm going to fold them all. So fold in half, and then in half again, and then cut them so that we have 4 pieces. And there you go, I did that off camera rather. And now we have to fold it as small as you can, lengthways. I think I managed to get about 3 in folds, but you know, some of theirs show like they've got like 6. I don't know how they could do that with such a small piece of paper, but I managed to do 3, and it's kind of okay. And then I'm not sure if I know I'm going to do a lot of it off of camera, but I'm not sure if I'm going to stick this together because they will be stuck together. I'm struggling with trying to get it to do its thing. and be even, because it's very not even. Probably because I didn't cut it even in reality. So I'm sort of still trying to straighten it out a bit more. I think I'm trying to get another fold out of it to see if I can push it over one more time. I can't remember if I'm successful or not. We'll find out in a minute. There you go. So giving it a go like that. I think I end up giving up with the ruler and just holding it. Yeah. And trying to do it myself. And just get that. Oh no, I'm gonna never say I don't try. Trying again. It's never gonna work. It's a really silly idea, you know. All great thoughts. So there you go. I paused the camera and did it. Then we're going to fold it in half and we're going to glue those two pieces together, but then you don't want to get any glue on any of the rest. There we go, drop it. Any of the rest either, because you want to make sure that it does fan out. So you've got to be really careful when you're going to glue these, that you only do it, you know, that you separate it out pretty quick afterwards. And then I will do the rest. So I show you I've done the dark green ones. Then we have to cut some wire. The dark green one goes on 7 centimeters, which is there, and then also on a 3 centimeter piece, which you have to cut two. One goes for the dark green and one goes for the light green. You're also going to need to cut 6 centimeter wire, 5 centimeter and 4 centimeter. So that's a 7, 6, 5 and 4, one of each. And then 2 3 centimeters, and you're going to bend all of them with a angle like that, a 90-degree angle at the top. Then you take 2 of these and you're going to want to put them either side of the wire. So I'm just showing to make sure that how they're stuck together was like that, and just put a little bit of glue on and then fan them out before it dries, otherwise you don't get them fanned out. So these are a lot, like I say, they're not as anywhere near as big as what they show in the book, but with 1.5 centimeters, I don't think I could have got it any smaller if I tried, to be honest with you. You might be able to. And then I'm trying to work out which way to do the wire. I do get this perfected eventually, you know, and then glue it on like I almost had it there. So I'm gonna feel comfortable now, ready to glue. Let's glue that and put that on there, and then get the other one and work out where I've got to put it, because it's actually got to match, and you don't want it really matching on the side. So now I'm going to start to get messy with glue, and this was, I will say, a very messy job. I ended up with glue all over the place. I'm surprised any of them fanned out. And then we're going to take another one and we're going to join it together, and we have to do that another one time for the dark green, once again for the dark green, and then we have to make 4 of those of the lighter green for the plant, and you kind of want them on the side more than where it is, and I'm probably going to show you that in a moment once I'm making it fall apart. Get myself more and more glued. Start sticking to myself the amount of glue I've been using the last few days, and it doesn't come off easy. I've tried talcum powder and all sorts. Just got to use hot water and then almost peel it off, which is quite satisfying in a very strange, weird way. And there you have it. There's one done. And now, like I say, you have to do the rest of them. So you've got a 3 centimeter which will go on this dark green, and then you will have the 6 centimeter, 5 centimeter, 4 centimeter and a 3 centimeter on the light green. So basically rinse and repeat what we've done there, to get them looking like that, and then put them to dry. Just make sure you keep fanning them out as you go, so that they don't all really stick together and everything. Right, and this is showing you what I've done and the pot that they're going to go into, and that I'm going to be using tacky glue to try and put them in. but I was also struggling to get the lid off of the tacky glue in order to make it work, because it takes obviously quite a bit more force than my hands wanted to do. So I'm in the process of doing that now and putting tacky glue in, and then we're just going to pop them in, and you want to make sure that one of the smaller ones, the ones on the 3 centimeters, is at the bottom, which I'm putting the light coloured green one in first, and then I'm going to put the dark green, and they're meant to be right at the bottom of the pot like I'm showing you, and then we can do the others. Some of them start poking out the bottom at some point, so I end up pushing that back up, but you kind of almost want it layered, so you don't want it to be, you know, all the same right next to each other or anything. It's meant to be, have some height to it. I really wish that I would be filming what I'm doing more than you see in my hand, but hey, part of modelling, huh? I'm sure it happens. So then just trying to squeeze that in, because even though it seemed like it was quite a big area that I could feel, it still got quite tight. Sorting the bottom out there, and now I'm going to put that to one side, resort them how I want them, and put it to one side to dry. And then I think we are going to move on to the next step, which is going to be doing more plants. I'm going to be working on spider plants now. And initially I needed double the amount of those two, the smaller ones. So what you want is, you want one dark green, well, you need 2 dark greens of 3.6 centimeters in length by 3 centimeters high, and you want to cut triangles into them. Theirs are much more defined than what mine are. Mine are very close together, and they need to be probably a little bit more apart. And then you need one where you actually need 2 each for each spider plant, and we're making 2 of dark green 2 centimeter by 2.5 centimeter. So I don't have enough here. I end up having to do more. And then also 2 pieces per plant of the 1.5 centimeter by 1.5 centimeter, and triangles in all of them. So basically you're going to have one bigger the green one, like that one which I'm holding now, then 2 of that green, the smaller greens underneath, and 2 of the light green underneath for each plant. Plus you need the wire, and the wire has to be 4 centimeters in length. So now what I'm doing is I'm just getting some glue on there. Looks like I'm using Beacon, and I'm just going to roll that all the way up, and then the wire in this case actually has to go from the top. So you know, most times we put the wire in, we're putting it on the bottom on that flat piece. This time it has to go through all the leaves, basically, because it's spider plant and it's going to be a hanging basket, so it's going to be, you know, dangling from that wire. So we have to put the wire in. So they recommend on this particular section to do it afterwards, whereas the smaller ones, they get you to do it before. So I'm just trying to make it as small as I can. And then I'm going to put that wire in. And it should be, have enough glue inside to make that work, if I could pick it up, which I'm struggling with. I also stabbed myself with a knife before that as well, which is why I have a band-aid on. And of course I'm sticking to everything as normal. I think I put a bit extra glue onto the wire. I didn't feel that there was going to be enough. So that's what I'm doing now, as you can see. And then just make sure you get that right down the middle. Try and avoid as many of those leaves as you can, because you're going to have to separate them later. That goes in there so that you can see the wire. And it will have a curve on the top, and I believe I've probably done that by now. If not, I will do. Actually, I know I haven't because they're sitting in front of me. And then you are going to put this one on, and I'm just going to put some glue down to help it on its way. Those two need to be on top of each other first. And I will end up gluing them together before I start. I did start to try and roll them, but of course with the two papers actually separated, then that didn't work. All I was doing was really rolling the green one, as you can see. So I'm putting thing on it, and it's like, well, what was the point of having it? So stick those together first. And by the time I did this, all the glue that I'd put on top of the green had already come off, and then that will roll on the wire, and that's the normal way, which is from the bottom, because this is for the baby parts of the spider plant. And try and line that up, and then use your little wire, which is the little ones is one is 3 centimeter and one is 2 centimeter per plant. And at this point I didn't realise that there was meant to be two, so that looks like the smaller one, the 2 centimeter that I'm putting on right now. And now I'm having to glue it again because the glue had all come off because I'm wearing most of it on my hands. Yes, well, that's quite the way, isn't it? And I'm going to roll that as tight as I can, which isn't as tight as I'd like in reality, and that wire is still quite loose. I mean, I could have put it in afterwards, wouldn't have mattered. And then just roll that all together and put that to one side to dry. And then we'll do the same with the other one. I don't know if I'm going to show that. And the other one's got the 3 cent. Oh, I just show it, it's all done. Okay, so like I say, and by then I'd realised that I needed 2 of the baby ones per spider plant, and those will be the beads that they're going into. So then we have to bend the wires basically, and that's one of the baby ones. So it looks kind of like an S, but that kind of doesn't end up working the way, and I can't get my angle right on it. So I end up kind of putting it against the bead and using the bead as the guide. But what you're looking for is you're looking for them to hang down out of the basket basically. And then when I come back on live, I'll be able to show you exactly how that worked. Because they're all ready to rock and roll. And so I think I'm going to put one of these in. I might put both in, and I can't remember if I end up doing it before or afterwards. But this is where I've realised that way I've done the wiring, which looks like the way they did the wiring, isn't going to work for what they're looking for. And I just did probably something wrong. So I'm trying to reorganise it right now. Trying to bend it the other way and see if that helps. Trying to fluff it out a bit. It's ready to go. Don't even remember doing that part, by the way, because they all look like they're waiting to go. I guess I did. And then I'm trying to bend it again and do the similar shape as what I did before. I think I just gave up and decided that I'm just going to bend it that way. Not quite as much as that though, it's too much. And we'll fluff them out when it was all dry. So obviously I started to fluff them and then just put them on there for them to hang it down, but I'd put it too tight so it wouldn't work, and just needed to adjust that, and then we got them in there. So I think then what I do is I put the main part in first, because that just goes with you're going to have the wire for that one poking upwards. So I'm going to use tacky again, I believe, once I can get the lid off. I'm probably struggling with the lid again now. So I'm going to get tacky in there. And I'm determined, by the way, that I'm going to get to some of this frame today. But I don't know, this part of the video seems quite long. Anyway, I stick that in there, back to my commentary. And then I'm going to put the two babies on there. So there's just a bit of a tight squeeze to get them in. And then they've got to dry. So I'll do both of them, put them to one side. So both of them have the two baby spider plants growing from them. So it's a very happy spider plant, because that's why they have the babies, by the way, is when they're happy. I'm sure I read that somewhere. I don't think I'm making it up. I could be making it up. Romantic at heart. And then I've just got the other one to make, which I'd imagine I will just do offline. Yes, there we go. So now I'm bringing the next part that we're going to do, which is we're going to make a message board, an advertising board is what it's called. We're also going to make 2 coffee bags, some ice cream. So I'm just talking about that, and then I will go and cut it, which I 100% certain I do it offline, and then look at what we're doing. So I think I was guessing that it was ice cream. I wasn't 100% sure, and then I try and use a ruler for it. I don't do very well with the ruler on this. I don't know why the lines weren't quite where I thought they should be. They were kind of a bit off, and I ended up being better off doing it by hand rather than relying on the ruler. At this point I realised doing it opposite to what I can see is probably not the best idea either. And that side was alright, it was the other side. You can see it was kind of off, so I try it again to get that down. And then I think I get everything that it's bent ready to go before I pull out the glue. I can't remember if I make one up at a time or I have them all ready. No, I'm gluing it by the fact that I'm not doing anything, or I can't see me doing anything. So I'm guessing that I am gluing it right now. That would be my guess. And I'm probably will be talking about what we're going to do with the pots, and the fact that it was ice cream, because I didn't actually know it was ice cream until a bit afterwards. Oh, I think I was just trying to bend it a bit better, and now I'm showing the ice cream one, so you can see on there eventually when I can get it focused the flavour that I can't see now. There we go, cherry cheesecake flavour, and I think it's ice cream. And going to shows nutritional information. I actually think that's pretty cool. And then you can see that there's a line on the back there which you've got to put your glue on, and it'll match that up to that line. And then the other one is a cappuccino. I'm guessing ice cream again. That's what I think it's got to be, right? It makes logical sense for it to be ice cream in tubs, especially, and they're different size tubs too. And there's the lids for it. And with these are coffee bags. They have like dotted lines all the way around, so you think you're going to bend them all the way around, and you kind of do, but you don't. So I'm going through my confusion by what they mean, because the picture doesn't. It kind of looks like you should bend them because it has that line at the bottom. And now I'm thinking to myself, is it easier to stick those on separate before I bend it all and decide that I won't do that, which was just as well, because I would have had it on the wrong way anyway. It has to go to the top, and I would have put it on the bottom. But I was thinking maybe that's what those dotted lines were. So I think I do end up folding both the side and also the bottom, and then just having to get my ruler again just to make sure. And also the bottom, but then not really needing to use the bottom at all. So I'm kind of getting that ready, and then I'll glue them all in one go, and probably I don't think I would do that online. on camera, probably doing it separate. I may, I don't know. But there was no reason to bend that bottom section because it doesn't get stuck together or anything. Well, it does, but in a different way. And here then we're doing about joining the side, and then I'm still trying to work out how the bottom of it's going to work. But you kind of don't want to press it down. You want it literally to be like a sack. So you don't want to make it more square than it needs to be. You kind of want it to be a bit round. And so I'm probably just going to glue the front, but I'm thinking about, yeah, I decided not to do the bottom and just do the sides. So I'll prepare them both to do that. And the top rim, which are separate pieces, we're not going to do straight away either. We'll do that at the end. And at the end of this, I had to go out. But it was okay because I'm sitting here looking at all the stuff now because I haven't recorded the rest of it because it was all drying. And now it's very, very dry. So even though I don't really need to bend that, I went and did it again, which is interesting. I'm not even sure why but I bent it the other way, bent it outwards, and I guess that kind of is going to be what happens. Alright, so now I'm starting to glue things and get them together and put to one side to dry. Start with the ice cream. Probably because I was fancying some ice cream. Wonder why I did the ice cream first. I have no idea. Probably that. Bound to be that. Don't need to put it in front of the camera. You know, I just want to really show you nothing at this point about what I'm doing. But basically I'm trying to line it up to make sure it is on the dotted lines. I wonder if I thought the camera was off. Doubt it. Oh, yep, let go of me, you fiend. And then do the same with the other one. So I'm popping some glue on, and then gonna roll it to the line again. So it's actually surprising to me how long these plants and things have taken. I mean, it took me the best part of several hours yesterday just doing the ones that I did. I guess if I wasn't recording and doing it for the channel, then I would just be taking my time and I might do 1 or 2 a day. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't do it all at once like that. It was quite the marathon. And now I'm going to get that glued for the advertising board. And what's the advertising? Macho Man, it says. It actually says Macho Man. Smile a loop, maybe? I actually can't read that. It says something like that. There we go. Oh, a smile a lot. Smile a loop. And be sweet. So it's full of like positive affirmations. So be self-confident. Tell her you love her. There you go. It's got like positive, pretty cool. It's got positive affirmations on it. I would have thought it would have advertised the coffee. Didn't read it. There you go. So now we know. So just squaring this up now. Getting that sorted. Trying to line it up because one side didn't want to. And now we're going to start on these coffee bags. And all we're going to do is glue the side and put that together. I'm getting the glue ready, I guess, for on that one too. At the same time, I'm getting extra confident here. I'm going to get that together. I will show you. I really will. but you don't want to press too hard on the paper itself because you don't want to make it flat. You want it to have that, like you could put something on the inside of it. I'm just making sure that sticks together okay. There's so much glue on my hand, I'm sure I'm sticking to everything right now. I'm putting that to dry, and then I'm going to do the same with the other one. And put that together. Again, just making sure that we don't... So it's going to look almost like a cylinder, but not quite, because it kind of gets a bit flattened from that when you do the bottom. But it looks like a cylinder at this point. Just making sure it takes. I think I'm using Beacon. I couldn't swear to it though. I'm pretty sure I am. I use Beacon for it. I normally do for most paper parts. I'm using Beacon, yeah, for sure. I'm putting some very stringy Beacon onto my ice cream, which doesn't want to let me go. So I'm walking around with 2 tubs of ice cream. Nothing wrong with that picture. Putting the caps on, making sure that they're straight and they read right. I want them the right way round. And making sure the writing's there. Struggling to let them go. They don't want to let me go. The actual lids are, I think, a little bit oversized for them. Because I did those pots dead on the lines as well when I folded them up, and the lids seem a bit big. Getting that lined up as best I can. I don't think I've had cappuccino ice cream. I don't think I've had cherry cheesecake either. Come to that, I couldn't imagine, for me personally, having it. Right, now I'm looking at what I'm going to do about the bottom. So now I squish it a little, but I squished the wrong... No, I end up squishing the right end. So you want that end, the furthest from the sign, to be squished together at the bottom where the lines were. And you want that to squish together. I'm not ready for that to use that yet. Off you go. And just crimp them together, and then you want to kind of bend them up a little bit towards the sign, so it just like goes towards the sign rather than back, but they're not folded under or anything like that. And that's what that dotted line was for. And then it kind of looks like that, and we'll do the same on this one. Everything's sticking to me. Good news is I think all the glue's gone now. It's been a long time. I'm going to do the same with this. Squeeze it together and then crimp it up. It's not really crimp, pushing it upwards. Like so. I'm getting that sorted. Got glue on my tweezers too. And then all we have left to do is the tops of the coffee bags, and then I should be exactly where I am right now, and then hopefully we can get the rest of this video sorted. So I'm just deciding that I think I want to do the join at the back. It doesn't really say where to do it. And then all of these bits are done except for the spider plants and flaying them out basically. So I'm trying to put it in the middle of the back, but every time I try and do it I seem to not do it basically. I seem to still get it wrong. So I'm messing around trying to adjust it all the time. I'll get there eventually. It still won't be centered, but be reasonably close. Just having a quick look. They're not terrible. And then doing the same with this one. And again, you just make sure you don't want to get glue on the inside because you don't want the two of them joining. You literally want it to have like a pillow that's not sealed. Let's jiggle the camera around a bit there. I got so much glue on me and I couldn't pick it up with the glue. Probably given up hope of trying to be picked up. And now I'm probably explaining that I'm going to need to go out. Everything will be dry by the time I come back. And we would have carried on. And the rest of this video would have been exactly the same problem. But as it happened, I checked. Which is very unusual for me to check. I must have had a premonition. And again, trying to get it even on the back as I can. Really just trying to get more and more glue on me. I mean, pretty caked in glue at this point. And there I leave it. And we get on and flay out this spider plant now. So I'm just going to get everything ready for you. Just showing you what I've done so far. And letting those dry. Yeah. Can leave them now. Alright. I am going to go and start the spider plants. Alrighty, this should be working now. So this is as far as we got in the last bit. What we're now going to do is get these flayed out. So these are the two baby ones, and they still move even though they're glued in. And basically you're just going to fluff them around basically. Wow, basically twice in one sentence. Must be all that voiceover I just did. Just getting used to doing that. So, being that I don't want to take up too much of this video with doing this, I really do want to get on and do some of this wall. And then this will like come away from the wire. That's what you're aiming for, so that it goes down somewhat more than up. And then we are going to bend this into a loop. Just do it with my tweezers. It would be better if I did it with the right tool because it would be more rounded. And I think I'm going to switch the camera to the other view, being we're starting the frame, and just push them down. So you basically want them facing downwards, and you want these ones hanging and just flayed. So I'm going to play with those in a little bit. Let's get and do these walls, or at least start. Alrighty, we are back on the other camera, thank goodness. At least I won't have to knock it. Anyway, so I don't know if you remember, but on day one I sort of said, well, I will look at the instructions and decide whether I want to do the baseboards first or just get on with it, and I ended up getting on with it. Well, now's the time that we're going to do this. A little bit of that got cut out and I don't know how. Anyway, so all of them I'm going to put on, and I'll show you in one sec what I'm going to do. This one also, but I will leave one side of this because it has paper on both sides with the windows in, and show you what I do with those. So the likes of, let me just get this well, see, this one's got the musical thing, which I don't have, so I don't have to cut those holes out into it. I just have to make sure that it's the right way round, which it is. So I guess we could do this one. So all I do, because I prefer to use a crafting knife, is I cut out the corners just a little bit, just so I can line it up. Then I hold it up to the light and make sure it's lined up, and then leave it to set. So I have a new blade in my crafting knife ready to rock and roll, not been used yet. The other one has got a little bit rusty in there, so yeah, it's been in there a while, I guess. Didn't think it was, but time flies. So let's make a start with this one, and I'll show you what we do, and then I'll get on it and do the rest, and I will show you that. and I will also come back and show you about that window. So we have quite a lot of these boards, I mean like a ton. Well, I actually need that one, no good me putting that to one side. So all we do is, I know the music box is the bottom right side, and we have the menu, so we kind of want this to be on the opposite, like so. So let's get this glue going. Now, there's none over. Sometimes you have ones where you've got a lip going around it. Not on this one though. But I will check them as I go as to whether that is the case. And if not, and it's just wood, then it might be that we look to colour them with some acrylic paints. Or I use pens, but... So you need a reasonable amount on here to keep it down, especially in the corners. And then I'm going to use my plastic spreader type thing in order to put it down. I'm actually quite excited to be on the walls, actually, to start putting this together. I'm tired of seeing plants. I think yesterday almost broke me on those plants. Goodness, it was a lot. Alright, so let's get that lined up in this corner and then in this corner. So generally, if you've got the corners lined up, then everything else should line up. Now with this glue, with Beacon, you just be careful not to press down until you're really happy with it, because it actually takes quite quickly. So I'm not happy with this. It's already started to want to take. Start on that top corner instead. It really does want to take. I don't normally quite have this trouble getting paper on, as I seem to be. There we go. It's still a bit off, you know. I think we're just going to go with that. Can't keep lifting it, otherwise I will end up air bubbles. And then just push all the way so that it make sure it spreads. So this should avoid it having any bubbles and it lifting off. But normally I would check it against the window, or I've got a window to my right, just to make sure it's lined up. Let me show you that it's really not as difficult as that looked on this other one. If I can get it going the right way, because I made that look incredibly difficult and it really isn't normally. So get this top one done and this bottom one, and then I'll go and do the rest and we can have a look at what it's like afterwards. Be honest with you, by the time I've done them all, they'll all be ready. And again, put your glue down, and then we can just cut them out afterwards. And we can get rid of the greaseproof paper for that too. So like I say, I think there might be two walls that have no, I think there's only one wall with windows actually. I'm trying to think if there is more than one. I think there might be one with a small hole in it. But I may not have bought that one because I wanted to wait to see how it went together. So this is going to go here. And again, just don't press down, and then you can still have some manoeuvrability. Although I didn't think I pressed down on the last one. And get that there. And then get that over. Too much. Okay. Hold it up to the window. It's looking good. So it's kind of interesting. They got graffiti on the inside, and they got brick on the outside. Why am I doing it that way? Duh. Habits. Alrighty, so there's two walls which need wallpaper both sides, this one and this one. So all I do is, this isn't fully dry, but it's good enough. So if glue has seeped out, like there's some glue seeped out of this one, then it does make it a little bit more difficult for cutting, plus it's going to mess up my blade. But get off. So get that sorted. But all you do, if you do it this way, some people cut it all out by hand. I'm just more confident using the crafting knife, and like I say, it is a new blade, so it should go through. First time, really. Shouldn't have needed to have done a second. It's definitely still wet. And then what I'll do is I'll get the other side dry. I'll get the other side pasted and have it all ready for you for day 7, and then we can put things together. Not sure how much is involved in it yet. I know we have window frames to put in and things like that, which is interesting being we don't have that many windows. I think they're all on the inside, and that's what we end up with, so it looks pretty neat. This needs a little bit tidying up at the top here, but generally, and there's a little bit of the white showing all around, which means it was kind of just a bit sort of small for the actual frame rather than anything to do with me, which is nice. This is one with a window, so I was going to do both sides and show you, but it's getting on, starting to get dark. So I wanted to get at least this video finished so I can get it ready to go up. And then last side, and then I'll show you what I do for the windows, and then this will be finished ready for tomorrow. Oh, didn't even go through. How rude. Sticky, that's why. Okay, and see, that one's lined up a lot better. And then all I do is cut through on the inside. Try not to get the wood like I just did. Find it easier that if you turn it, sometimes certain ways seems to work better. I caught the wood on this one too. So this will have a window frame, I think. I couldn't swear to it actually, I have no idea. I think I'm just making things up. So never pull on it, always just do it again if it's sticking. It's just sticking in the corner. And of course when it comes to, oh, that was just a bit of glue holding it in. When it comes to doing the paper and things like that, quite often when you're putting it on windows, you need to make sure you put extra paper on it, glue on rather, anyway, so that it holds it. Just missed a piece here. Come on, out you come. There you go. It was being stubborn. And then lastly, I'm not comfortable doing that, I'm going to slice my finger. And this, and with the windows, when they also, it's harder to get it into the corners when there's quite a bit of glue. This one's got more glue actually on it than the other one did. Almost. Not 100% sure I even did this side. Whoop. It's spinning at me. Where's it caught? Down the bottom here. a lot of glue. Should have waited for that to dry. Alright, and that's roughly what it will look like. Which kind of looks okay. Get that off. Right, let's have a look. So we've done, these two walls are done, just need to put the other sides on both. So also today we did our little beautiful little sign, we did our coffee bags, did our ice cream pots of deliciousness, we finished this plant, oh, even stands up, and I found out the spider plants as well, so those are good enough to go. Alrighty, so we did actually quite a bit today in the end. Sorry about the recording at the beginning. I don't really know what happened and why it didn't pick up my mic, but some reason it did not. Yeah, please leave any comments and I will get back to you, or you can email me, and my email address is opallyhour@outlook.com. Please do like and subscribe. It does help the channel massively, enables me to bring you more content as well going forward. But most of all, and most important thing is, do take care of yourself. Right, take care now. Bye bye. See you tomorrow. Bye.